A lot of persons out there who have the understanding of insurance also insure their lives for the benefit of their loved ones. So should they die, should someone who is providing for the family, die, the family is not going to suffer because it's no longer there. So for the households, everyone has got something to insure.
I understand that insurance is like a policy that is put in place to ensure that maybe when things go sideways or when things to mitigate the effects of a tragedy or something like that. For instance, if I insure my car and I have an accident, instead of looking for a huge amount of money to replace the car or to repair, I can actually fall back on my insurance. It's just like a saving, like when you say you are saving for a rainy day, something like you just keep it somewhere. So, and I think it's very effective, especially for people that understand that there's risk. They're always taking risk. So when you know that you can fall victim of all these negative happenings, especially in Lagos, somebody might bash your car or something like that.
Let's say I'm working with the app. You understand? So as I'm working with the app cannot collect me without the insurance. So then from that insurance, they will identify my vehicle, they identify my bike, or whatever I'm doing with my bike. That is what I know about insurance.
Because of the level of understanding, we really have not deepened insurance things very well because people really don't understand. So some of them are ignorant on what it means to insure their things. But it's something that everybody needs to do, right? And again, the religion issue is also very, very critical. People believe that, everything will be fine. They hope and they believe. So they see no reasons to do insurance. But then again, it is important to do it because you can't predict what can happen next. Though we believe in God, but at the same time, we need to secure and at least insure some of these things.
Insurance is good. It's good in woman society because it helps a lot. Because we have a lot of incidents that used to happen. It's not by our action or by accident. Okay, let's take a look of what happened in Lagos Island of recent about one big building that just have a fire incident. Suppose those people there doesn't have insurance. That means those people have already lost. But if you have insurance, at least insurance people can take over at least 50 to 70% of the take care of the property or to give you another one. If you are paying that, that's why to me, insurance is very good to operate in a society because if you look at I'm just be paying, nothing happened to me, then I'm just be wasting my money. Remember there will be a day. Even if not, you can do health insurance. One day you will die, and your children they will collect the money or health insurance. Whenever you have one big incident, they can come to your aid. Even this nowadays, you have education insurance, many type of insurance. To me, in short, insurance is good in society.
The insurance policy in Nigeria doesn't really work because we, the people, will be paying insurance for our cars, for our houses, for everything to be insured of. But when we have problem, especially example when we have car accident, you go to an insurance company to take care. They will look at an excuse so that they will not fulfill their own obligation. And that is why I think it's a waste of money. Though we are forced by the law to insure our cars or our properties. But at the end of the day, the insurance companies are the ones that disappoint the people.
So I think it should be a policy. It's not something that should be driven by just the private sector alone. The government needs to enforce it. If you go to other Western countries, you go to United States, Canada, UK, and so many other advanced countries, insurance is something very important. So the government needs to make it a policy, not whether you like or not. I don't like, I like. No, it should be a policy. And again, the insurance company needs to do more we've seen a situation where you see people do pay for insurance. At the end of the day, by the time they have issues, they call on their insurance company. At the end of the day, they get little or no assistance from them. So that's very bad. For instance, I insured my car. At the end of the day, maybe I have one or two issues. I run to my insurance. Please, I have this. They will start asking some questions and telling me some things that I'm not supposed to. So there should be penalty for that. If you misbehave, I should be able to sue you and you pay me compensation. So when there are laws, that's why I said there should be law. Policies should be there. That's when this thing can work.
So how can we deepen penetration in Nigeria when it comes to insurance?
I think we are having some green lights now when it comes to the insurance subsector. And I say that because the implementation of new insurance industry reform bill acts, right, NIRA, will play a key role here. And the act covers critical areas that will improve penetration. Here we are talking about recapitalization of insurance companies, right? And that is essential so that insurance companies are able, to take risk, right? They have the appetite, increased appetite for risk. Don't forget that one key issue in the insurance sector is the issue of trust, right? So this reform that is coming up now set to address that area.
And that Vox Populi is an answer to question the place of awareness and also experience with insurance services and products. But then to deepen the conversation, let's look at some stories here, and which we have Nigerians, despite its potential as a burgeoning market, the insurance penetration rate remains critically low, under 3% in Africa's most populous country. The key barriers contributing to this issue include a lack of awareness and understanding of insurance benefits among the populace, as well as cultural perception that often view insurance as an unnecessary expense. However, that does not seem utilized, as it does not limit the financial security of individuals and businesses, nor does it constrain the overall growth of the insurance sector. How? The National Insurance Commission, NICON, issued guidelines on the issuance and renewal of insurance institution licenses in Nigeria. This is in exercise of the powers conferred on it by the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act, NIRA 2025, in its enabling law. It earlier issued a minimum capital requirement for insurance industry with a deadline set for July 30th, 2026. With this mark a turning point for the industry and position as a catalyst for financial inclusion and economic transformation. Hello and welcome to WebTV Focus. Thank you for joining us. I am Gabriel Jude from Lagos, Nigeria. Today, my guest is Mr. Ndubuisi Alu, Head Technical Heirs General Insurance, member of Heirs Insurance Group. And we shall be discussing how to improve insurance penetration in Nigeria. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jude. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Right. So let's begin with some critical factor from the most especially from the Vox Populi that we had. We heard about the issue of awareness, trust, and also the issue of procedure when it comes to seeking for help from people who have participated in the insurance scheme. And so can you walk us through and give us some insight of how insurance is to and the benefit for participants, to the broader perspective?
Well, thank you very much, Jude, for this opportunity. Insurance, I heard one of the participants that said, it said something about insurance penetration not being as it should because of lack of trust. Insurance is one tool for risk management that you buy, not exactly when you need it, but you buy it because you eventually need it. Insurance is a tool that you use to not just avoid something that you don't want from happening, but to make sure that if it happens, you are restored financially. You don't go cap in hand begging people for funds to help you. One of the examples that one of the respondents gave there about the buildings that caught fire in Lagos Island. A lot of people have their goods, their concerns, their assets burnt down over there, including the building. And if there are no insurance covers on those assets, that's a huge economic loss and waste to the nation, to the individuals, and to Lagos State, indeed. So what insurance does as a risk management tool is to provide you with confidence that you can go ahead and do this business, and if anything unwanted, anything onerous happens, an insurance company is going to step in and pacify you in terms of paying for the claims and paying the claims. Again, insurance gives the individual the peace of mind that, yes, I want to take this venture. Yes, I'm leaving my house, haven't done all that I should do. I shouldn't still be thinking about what could go wrong out there if something that I don't want to happen happens, right? I should be thinking of other things. I can have a peace of mind to pursue other areas of other things that I need to pursue in my life instead of thinking about how to protect my stuff. But this, however, does not take away the responsibility to take care of what we own, to protect them from harm or from damage. But when the inevitable, when something that you do not expect happens, insurance definitely steps in.
Okay, so I think we would surely look at the state of confidence in place of insurance, but then the role of insurance in the economic development, how can this deepen penetration?
In economic development, if you look at the total assets of insurance companies in Nigeria, so back as Q1 2024, it hovered around 3.3 trillion naira. Q1 2025, Q2 2025, it had grown to 4.61 trillion naira. Now, what this tells you is that the asset base, the confidence from the insurance public is beginning to grow. People are beginning to have a stronger interest in insurance because they believe that this is the foundation of any economy. Any economy where you cannot take care of the unpredictable, that economy will not grow as it should because people will be laid back. They're not sure what's going to happen. I take a cue from the paradigm that arose from the US military in the 80s, the VUCA paradigm, the vulnerability, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity of our society. The very essence of our society today is overwhelmed with a lot of uncertainties. You're not sure what's going to happen next. In fact, the environment is already depleted, right? You're not sure when the next flood is going to come. In fact, previously, you could predict the rainy season, could predict the dry season, but not so anymore. A lot of things also, in terms of economy, the inflationary trend, although a bit stable in a couple of months ago, but previously, the economy, the inflation has been going, haywire, up and down. You're not sure. It's volatile, it's uncertain, it's unpredictable, it's ambiguous, which means you cannot relax, fold your arms, and do real business in Nigeria if you don't take care of this aspect of something that you're not sure of. That's actually where insurance comes in. In the society where you have taken care of all you should take care of, you are sure that something should not go wrong. But then, what about a natural catastrophe? What about things that are beyond your control? You must have avoided some risks, must have controlled some, but there are some that might elude you. There are some that might still, emerge as you proceed in your business or even in your personal life. So for an economy to grow and to do so sustainably, you need a tool, insurance tool, to make sure you protect the base from destabilities.
Okay, so in 2025, so we've seen a lot of issues with companies. So you talked about inflation. You talked about so many issues that unpacked issues that we had 2025. Now, some businesses lost their properties. I mean, even people as well. So has that been taken care of in the place of insurance? So like you said, so maybe you could give us some data in order to drive some confidence in this regard as how insurance has been doing in place of economic development.
In recent times, we have the NERA Act 2025 that took effect from July 2025. That's a piece of regulation that is supposed to drive confidence from the public that things have changed. In fact, the general businesses now can write insurance if they have up to 15 billion naira as a capital base. The life businesses, 10 billion naira. And the reinsurance, 35 billion naira. Now, this shows that the government has strong interest in this sector. You'll recall that the recapitalization of the banking industry a couple of years ago in Nigeria actually stabilized things a lot. Away from what used to happen, where you used to hear about banks just went down overnight, things like that, phased away. So the government has demonstrated interest in this sector by making sure that the capital base of the operators is actually boosted. In addition to this, if you go online today, if you pick up your phone and do star 1100 hash, it's going to lead you to a platform for you to buy insurance. So which means we're also going digital. Now, these are the steps that operators and the governments have taken to prove that insurance is not a fluke, but it's not just a story. It's not a piece of item that people can buy if they want. Again, if you look at the insurance operators across the globe, Africa is actually experiencing a low penetration level, average of 3%, thereabouts. But South Africa is doing well, toppling this by 11%. Nigeria today is around 0.5% penetration level, but this is a growth from a couple of years ago where it used to be less than 0.1%. So the question I ask myself is this: if I'm asked to sell shoes to a community where they don't wear shoes alone at all, what do? Get them to start wearing shoes and I make a kill, or shy away or run away from them and say, oh, they don't wear shoes at all. So today, the penetration level in Nigeria is just 0.5%, which demonstrates a lot of potential. And with the new piece of legislation from the government, it shows that they have interest in this sector. They are calling the operators, they are calling the stakeholders, they are calling the insurance public to come in and see what is happening. The capital base has been improved. The balance sheets of the operators will also improve. The customer confidence will improve. More investors will be interested in this sector because, a lot of things are happening here.
What does this penetration mean to the household, to a common person who is on the street, who you may be subsequently advising he or she to have an insurance product? What is this penetration mean to a common Nigerian?
To the common Nigeria out there, insurance penetration today, to speak here, it is mostly the corporate sector that patronizes insurance. The individuals, it's either they do not know or they do not know sufficiently to get convinced that they need this in their lives. And that is why people will always succor to their families, friends, their religious associations if something onerous happens, because they do not know that they need insurance. So imagine that a lot more Nigerians understand the need for insurance or accept that this is something you really need to go along with stabilizing our personal economy. I tell you this, Nigeria, as big as it is, does not operate without insurance. Nigerian government, the assets, they're insured. The big conglomerates of this world that operate in Nigeria, they don't operate without insurance. And that is why their businesses are kind of stable. If something that is unacceptable happens, the insurance steps in. A lot of persons out there who have the understanding of insurance also insure their lives for the benefit of their loved ones. So should they die, should someone who is providing for the family, die, the family is not going to suffer because it's no longer there. So for the households, everyone has got something to insure. Everyone. If you do not own the house you're living, you own the property inside it. You own your belongings there. You bought them. If they get burnt down by fire, you will not appreciate what will happen. I mean, you may need to go to the market to buy new ones. Again, just my final thought on that. If you choose not to insure, you've taken a risk. If you insure, you've taken a risk. And I need to explain this. If you choose not to insure, for there are risks of penalties or imprisonment. I mean, for those compulsory insurances, right? So that's a risk. If you insure, you take a risk. Oh, I've paid this premium. Okay, let me take, for instance, comprehensive motor vehicles. The insurance for that costs 5% of the value. You cannot compare 5% of the value with 95% or with 100% of the value. If the value is like 10 million naira, the insurance price in there is 500,000 naira. You cannot compare 10 million naira with 500,000 naira. So if you insure, you're taking a risk. Oh, what if nothing happens? But the good thing about it is that you are taking a calculated risk. You have planned it. You have done your budget that I'm going to spend this on insurance at the beginning of the year. So through the course of the year, if anything happens to this car, if it gets stolen, if it gets burnt, whatever, I do not have to think of what to do to get back on my feet. Yeah. Right? So you may need to decide the type of risk you take, because whichever way you look at it, you're actually taking a risk.
When I look at the figure of recapitalization requirement, so I asked myself, so the first day I saw it, I asked myself, does insurance have this kind of money that to remit to the government? So this brought us to where we talked about who are those kind of people who participated in raising this fund. Let me put it together with the issue of deepening and awareness to Nigerians, and also what are those properties? What kinds of properties? What kinds of things you need to insure? Because I will tell you that in my area where I live, I don't even think that the house I live is insured. So what are the criteria, and also deepen the awareness?
To deepen the awareness, I think that this new legislation has demonstrated the interest of the government in this sector, number one. People going out there to look for funds to recapitalize has also shown that this is an industry to be reckoned with. A lot of companies eventually might be bought over. Some might be acquired. Some might have to merge as time progresses before the 31st of July this year. And investors are all over. I mean, from outside Nigeria and from within Nigeria, and willing to buy into insurance. So a company like Heirs Insurance Group is in a very good place when it comes to recapitalization, right? But for companies that cannot make it, that's what I'm talking about. It makes the sector stronger. It makes the operators more believable. Because now 2 or 3 insurance companies that might not be strong to meet the recapitalization requirement might need to merge. And when they merge, they are stronger. When they merge, they are more believable. When they merge, in fact, inwards, they have the confidence that we can do much more than we used to do now that we are much stronger. Now, you talked about spreading the awareness for insurance. Actually, that's why I'm here. That's what we're doing now. But insurance has gone beyond the traditional black and white papers that we used to have a couple of years ago. It has gone beyond the computer. It has gone beyond, as I mentioned before, that if you go online today and do star 1100 hash to take you to a place you can buy insurance from Heirs Insurance Group, right? If you go to the website of Heirs Insurance, www.heirsinsurancegroup.com, to take you to a place you can buy insurance. So which means we have digitized insurance. And that's the drive. So the drive is to create this awareness, to make people know more about what we have that they need, that they may not know that they need, or that they may know but didn't know sufficiently enough, right? So our intent is to put the insurance in the palms of everyone, right? Today, there's something that every young person in Nigeria has either in their hands or in their pockets, and that's the mobile phone. That's why we're actually driving insurance towards that aspect. So there's hope.
Let's look at, as we conclude then, the issue of pragmatic way where insurance can, focus on the household. You know, I know that you mentioned that insurance has gone beyond traditional ways and means, but can we have something in form of like the ISA that we had, like when we talk about cryptocurrency things and also fintech. So most especially, let me use this as an example for fintech's banking. So can we have some kind of things like that will ease in this penetration?
Thank you, Jude. One of the things that will help drive deeper penetration in Nigeria today is partnership. And of course, we're very big on this. Partnerships. You possibly cannot do this alone within our sector. So we need to partner with aggregators, we need to partner with insurtechs and fintechs too, because you cannot go end to end in the entire value chain of insurance without having to get involved with other sectors. Anyway, whatever you are going to insure is not insurance itself. You're insuring something else, right? So partnership with stakeholders, partnerships with people who drive value from the entire value chain, right, to help us, run the deeper penetration. Another thing is a collaboration, data-wise, because if in the industry we do not share data, we do not have we still have this apathy within to share and understand our data. It's going to be difficult to drive this penetration, right? So we need to collaborate the more, in the industry. Thirdly, this regulation, the NERA, has once again demonstrated the willingness to make the insurance companies, in the event that an insurance company does not want to pay a claim for flimsy reasons, this legislation gives an opportunity for anyone to take it up through the regulators, right? And that demonstrates that, it is not what people think. I heard someone mention that they may not come to you when you need them. You do not really need to go to the courts, right? If you wish, but the regulators are also there. They will step in. So it's a collaborative effort, right, to help us drive this growth.
Like I said, we're supposed to conclude, but see, this issue of trust is very important. How can you give us your words to how we can trust insurance? Because a lot of people, so for example, if I want to come into insurance scheme, what kind of confidence should I have as an individual?
Okay, to build trust, one of the things that would entrench trust is openness, clarity. And that is why insurance operators can come on television and say, this is what this policy covers, buy it and you're going to get this.
Does it work?
Yes, it does. Openness, clarity. If you look at the policy document that you've been sent, the second thing, and I'll come to the second one, is for the consumers of the product to study the document. You study the document. That is the contract document that you have. between you and insurance company. So if you study it, you understand it, and the way you do not understand it, you ask questions. That will bring clarity, because if there's no clarity, trust will never be there. Then number 3 is to deliberately create awareness, and that is what we're doing. Create awareness that, hey, this is something you need, and we're here for you to provide it for you. So now the government has pushed the capital base up, and the operators are actually complying, so which means they are ready to actually meet the claims of the people. Then something else that I believe will also demonstrate this trust, not just to enhance it, but demonstrate is being more vocal about claims that have been paid, right? Being more vocal. Oh, this number of claims have been paid, and we're willing to do more, in that space. In fact, a couple of years ago, what we did was to interview some people whose claims have just been paid, right? So that they can say, by themselves what their experiences are.
Testimonials.
Yes, testimonials. Then we are also out there on the internet. To go and score. Check us out, score us, go to the website, check us out, make your comments, score us, and all those feedback, we harvest them, we'll come back, analyze them, and go. So it's an industry that in the past people had this apathy. They didn't quite believe that insurance could pay. But believe you me, with what we were doing recently and what we're going to do going forward, this trust issue will be a thing of the past.
What must you have to have your facilities insured with the insurance company?
If, for instance, you have maybe your household items, whether you own the house or you don't own the house, of course, you know about the KYC. You need to have your KYC documents proving that this is me, this is who I am. This paper represents who I am and where I stay. Those KYC documents are very important. Then, of course, you need to have evidence of what you're insuring, right? For instance, pictures. Sometimes you might need to send engineers to come and evaluate. And that brings me to a very important point. Insurance is not just there to take the premium and say, okay, we've insured it. Should anything go wrong, we'll come back. No, they go right all the way with you. Because if you send engineers, for instance, to come and look at this studio and check out all the things you have that you want to insure, at the end of the day, we're going to be sending you a list of the risk improvement recommendations. If, for instance, you lose something and the cost of the insurance year, insurance is going to pay you back the money, but they may not pay you back the emotional hurt or the attachment you had to those things which you lost. Therefore, so it's not just about sending the engineers to come and look so we don't have to pay a claim. No. Send the engineers, look at what you have. Sometimes we'll send valuers to say, oh, the value you placed on this item, if insurance has to pay you today, you will not be able to buy this equipment in the market because inflation has pushed the prices up. So those are the other roles that insurance plays, to the insuring public.
Thank you so much, and apologies for stretching you to beyond the time. Indeed, is like I said earlier, is priority. Our priority is household, and then we need to establish some key information, some key awareness. As you are doing your own awareness, we are also helping you do your own awareness and making sure that people understand these things, and then it becomes valuable. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. Appreciate it. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that will be all for this conversation on WebTV Focus program. For more information, finance, the market, banking, the economy, investing, please visit the Pressure website, WebTV YouTube, and follow our social media platform on the screen. Thank you everyone for watching. I am Gabriel Jude. Have a great day and bye for now.